Work log 2024-1128. Head of Reclamation, Alex Grimes. Good news. Over the last 2 weeks of working on the pile, it still looks about the same size as it did last year. While the Royal Technocratic Dominion, aka the Dominion, is demanding higher quotas from us in the Omniwaste Reclamation District, aka the NeoCity 13 sector that they filled with the entirety of the Omniplex's garbage, we're still trying to catch up on backlogs of work. Our vat of 5-month-old recycling, full of ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid with sodium metasilicate, needed to be emptied and filtered for reuse. As much as I love sorting garbage, I'm even more excited to leave the chemical processing plant behind for another 5 months. At least we got some nice parts, which I will be using on the new Mech. Speaking of which, last time I checked in on Rex, the frame and most of the primary joints had been assembled. That's cool and all, but since I'm the only one willing to put in the overtime, I'm going to add a few more personal specifications. In line with my goals of not getting smothered by a mountain of trash, Rex is going to get a lot more buff to handle obnoxious avalanches. Unfortunately, even when I try to make parts using beautiful, raw stock instead of nasty scrap, the parts always end up a mess and need fine-tuning. If you want to avoid extra manual labor like this, you should consider collaborating with PCBWay. PCBWay delivers high-quality 3D printing, PCB prototyping, and manufacturing services, streamlining the process of crafting complex, tailored components. Their capabilities allow me to tackle delicate designs and complex features that exceed the limitations of my own tooling. Thanks to their support, overcoming these technical challenges becomes much more achievable, and you'll see more of their parts as this audit progresses. Unfortunately, I don't have the foresight or the budget to order everything from them, so it's back to welding and grinding stock material for most of the build. Thankfully, the ultrasonic cutter can make its way through most materials, so I can avoid inhaling dust for a few more minutes. To the auditors at the Royal Archive listening, yes, that was a joke made with sarcasm. I wear Regulation KN95 masks when working. The last time I got fined for making a joke was not very cool of you. That took a few months to appeal, and honestly, I'm still a little bit salty you would do that to me. At least it means someone out there is in fact listening, so I should probably explain that we're making Rex's gribbity grabbers right now. His hands. Gribbity grabber is not the official term on the paperwork. Installing hydraulics was actually fun, despite it taking several hours of me repeatedly making the cylinders the wrong size. Reinforcing the wrists and lengthening the rams made for an exciting moment in Rex's life. And my life continued with manual cleanup of pivots after running out during the second hand. Before anyone asks, yes, I could have implemented a scissor jack to open the hand symmetrically, but I wanted to keep them asynchronous for maneuverability and hijinks. The ankles were looking a bit sketchy, so I decided to armor them up a bit. I wanted to add some spacers, but it seems that someone took all of the best flavors. That means more manual polishing of machined parts for me. Oh joy. I probably did more than I needed to, but I don't like grime and chips getting stuck in my servos during operation. I actually don't know if these bumper bar thingies have a technical name, but they'll help keep rubbish from colliding with the bearings. Doesn't this just give you the warm fuzzies? Marvelous. I really hope the Dominion approves a budget increase for PCBWay because that would have simplified a lot of work. Anywho, the baby bumpers slide in pretty easily. The nice thing about a build like this is that I get to use up junk I've been trying to get rid of for a long time that wasn't bad enough to grind up. Everything has been fitting together pretty nicely, except for the axle, which was a bit long. Adding some seals with dust covers will prevent nasty stuff from getting into the bearings. Brand new PCBWay vents help protect the thighs while allowing for excess heat to be purged from the hydraulic systems. Dust covers to armor the inside of the thighs to the pelvis connection were made incorrectly 3 times. I know I can just throw the extra parts into the pile again, but come on, that's such a waste of my time. After a long journey 2 feet away to dump misshapen parts on the ground, I finally started reinforcing the torso. To me, Rex looked like a kid with no shirt wearing his dad's overalls, and that just didn't sit right with me. So it's time for massive hardware. The arms could use a bit more meat on them bones, so the same crumple zone armor from the legs was utilized by the elbows. I've begun testing new hardpoint connectors, hopefully to allow for modular attachments onto mechs like Rex. And I discovered a happy accident with them working as perfect pivot armor. We don't normally have opportunities to innovate in the Omniwaste Reclamation District, but any potentially patentable idea submitted to the Royal Archive can lead to kickbacks down the line. After more testing, you bet your butt I'll be submitting them for use by others, in exchange for money, money, money. Oh, and by money, I mean reclamation budget. I make the same blue-collar wages as every other Dominion assignee. I mean, employee. Back to the task at hand. I wanted to use more armor on the shoulders, but they didn't quite fit in place, so additional sheet metal had to be welded together. I try to avoid customization at all costs because my time is limited, but sometimes you just gotta do what works. To complement the shock absorbers on Rex's sides, cantilever shock absorbers were also added to the shoulders to reduce impact vibrations. With as much hesitation and procrastination as I could muster, I finally added the computer system with onboard radio communications. Hopefully, no one will find out what frequency I'm connected to and leave me alone while I am using Rex. Something I wish I did earlier, however, was make a proper exhaust outlet for the muffler output of the biodiesel engine, because it is really not a fun time getting soot in your face. With that, I think I'm ready to turn this log in. Rex snaps together nice and easy and is ready for actually receiving functional systems. One bolt at a time, one pile at a time, we keep things moving forward. Seek progress, not perfection. The Royal Archive has a new Infosphere analyst. Enjoy your exclusive data access. End log 20241128.